Well, forests, forests are living things in and of themselves, but they're more than just pretty backdrops for postcards and their habitat, their home for literally millions of living things, right from little microorganisms, spider mites and micro worms and all kinds of stuff that make soil, and bacteria and fungi, right up through to the big stuff like moose, caribou, bears, the other. So, yeah, forests the forest-dependent species are extremely important. And since our forests are being pressured and a large part of the world has been deforested, it's no surprise that in many cases forest-dwelling species are amongst the leading ones that have been listed as being endangered or threatened or so under pressure. So, I mean, so goes the forest, so goes all the wildlife that lives in the forest. So it's very important when you're managing the forest or protecting it to know what wildlife is there and to do it in such a way that it respects the ecological needs and the home of all these different species that depend on the forest. And there's wildlife, and then of course there's forest-dwelling people, around the world, from the tropical forests of the southern hemisphere through to the Aboriginal peoples of North America. And so the Dene people, for example, in the Northwest Territories are really a woodland Indian people. They depend on the forest and on the wildlife that lives in the forest. So there's a food chain here that includes all those little tiny insignificant things, insignificant in some people's mind, all the bacteria and little insects and stuff, right up through to the smaller and mid-sized animals, to larger animals, to people. So there's a food chain there and an ecological home for a vast variety of wildlife. And when we humans are making intrusions into the forest by cutting it or using it, we have to do it in such a way that we're respecting and aware of and allowing other passengers on this planet to coexist with us in the forest.